My question, and I'm a part-time faculty member at Dhurumka. My concern is I'm just concerned about the Team Canada, good friend of Doug Fordham. So, sir, what's your...
He's like, give me the question, just spit it out, man. It is non-stop in Canada. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today we've got CBSA officers are completely throwing Justin Trudeau under the bus. They are blaming him for everything. How bad the situation is at the border. People flooding in. They say they can't do anything. Their hands are tied. We've also got a new super lab, another new one that was literally just discovered and reported yesterday. Found. They're still opening it up. We got a ton of other stuff. Let's jump into this. First off, here we got more polling data. This is coming from Shreya Tees's latest innovative research poll modeled out. So first off here, 40% for the Conservatives, 27% for the Liberals. This is more what I would expect. Modeled out as 204 seats for the Conservatives and 74 for the Liberals. These polls, it just bounces around so much. With how they do the polling, it's so important, as well as the balancing, the weighting of it, how many people they're calling in each area. It's just so many factors. Next up, we got Dominic LeBlanc here, posting a cheeky photo with him and Mark Carney. He's basically he's backing Mark Carney, just another Liberal here, putting his measly weight behind this banker. In other news, we got the Liberal Party questions leadership candidate Ruby Dhalla over possible interference from India. This is just ridiculous. They're probably going to throw her out. They'll just accuse her of Indian interference. She's not even from India. She was born in Winnipeg. Like, this is ridiculous. She's probably getting a decent amount of support, and the Liberal establishment knows that she's going to obliterate Carney in the debate, so they'll probably just throw her out. This getting posted everywhere. Table Salt's got this too. The Globe and Mail reports that party questioned her campaign on possible foreign interference from India and how 6 couples donated to her campaign using the same credit card. They also sent her a list of 27 questions she had to answer and immediately send it back. And as he says here, they refused a French translator for her French debate, so apparently she'll just be giving remarks if she's allowed at the beginning, at the end, and won't participate in the French debate. They'll grill her on that, but ironically, she actually speaks 4 languages. We got this here, breaking news. We've got another super lab, second clandestine street candy lab discovered in North Okanagan. Vernon, North Okanagan RCMP have discovered this super lab east of Armstrong. There's ongoing investigation into the suspected street candy lab in rural property of Spalumchin, according to the press release from the police. Investigation began earlier this week when officers went to the property on Reservoir Road and saw materials that indicated there might be a super lab there. So aside from that, we don't know much more about this, but it's like, how many of these super labs are they going to be finding? This is just disgraceful. We got one other shot here coming from the super lab. There's basically, this is all we got. Basically put some sign-ups. They said there's like a no occupy order, do not enter, basically signs. Next up, we got this story here. It says CBSA officers put border blame on Trudeau refugee program. So they absolutely blast Trudeau in this article. It's quite something. So this is coming out of the Toronto Sun recently. It says here, CBSA frontline workers were quick to respond. Don't blame us. A number of them wrote me. Blame Justin Trudeau's open doors, Liberal government, and an immigration and refugee board packed with radical left ideologues. Officers say they have essentially been handcuffed from making decisions that keep Canadians safe. This comes from the CBSA. The Americans know this. They've been calling that out. Exposed by Sam Cooper. Want to know why and how all the trash enters? Don't blame us, the officers. Blame the open border government that has tied our hands with whom we can detain and why. One CBSA staffer wrote, blame the fact that all those criminals are in the country on garbage asylum claims. Once they say the magic word refugee, they're released. Another border guard said the officers do their jobs. They refuse entry to criminals and other suspicious people whose stories don't add up. But they say refugee and it's a get out of jail free card, the anonymous guard said. The officer said frontline workers are being forced to consider every single alternative to detention. If Osama bin Laden was detained and his family in Canada, he would be released on a bond to his family. This is unreal. This is what Justin Trudeau has created in our country. He has done this to us. This is intentional. This is not him trying to make some nice policy that's good for our country. He has tried to ruck this country and he succeeded. It's all on him and the Liberals. Every single one of them have voted for these policies. Classifying the CBSA as the friend you don't want is unfair to all of us frontline workers who work hard every day with refusing and detaining, but once they leave the port of entry, they are released into the public, he said, adding a refugee claimant with criminal charges will be released for 2 to 3 years. before their claim is heard. That's right. These people can walk free for up to 3 years before their claim is heard. From automatic visa approvals to releasing everyone, this is all thanks to liberals. Frontline works hard, but unlike the criminals, our hands are tied. The criminals' hands are not, and they are free to roam. Another officer said the trio of Chileans recently busted for a slew of break-ins in Ontario slipped into the country on someone else's passport. The machines now used by the CBSA let them in. That's great. Just someone else's passport. Come on in. What kind of dumb system do we have? They're trying to automate everything, so more of this garbage will be coming in as they expand the PIK machines, the primary inspection kiosks. The World event resulted in visa application program where everyone got the green light, even blank pages. He said, that sounds real secure. It didn't matter if there was nothing on them. This is why we have 1 million Indian students. 90% of these would never be approved if they were being reviewed by a visa officer. That is wow. Even when officers suspected that someone on a visitor's visa had no intention of leaving, refusal was not an option. Unless they had criminal charges they admitted to, it was hands off, let them all in. We would be getting 100 refugee claimants a day, and 90% were coming on student visas with zero intention to study, and many not speaking a word of English, the officer noted. It's been very frustrating few years. The Liberals are backtracking, but the damage has been done. It'll take years for Canada to catch up and remove these people. So there we have it. From the CBSA, this really paints a picture on why our country is in such bad shape. Trudeau, Mark Miller, and Sean Fraser have all created and crafted this system to break Canada, and they have succeeded. We can get our country back, but we have to flush this trash out of our country first. I'm talking about the Liberals, as well as these guys. Just flush all this trash out. Next up, we got Trudeau Minister of Public Safety, David McGuinty. He announces, as it says here, that Canada is designating 7 cartels and street gangs as terror lord entities under the criminal code. It's a little late for this, isn't it, guys?
This morning, we are announcing that the Government of Canada is listing 7 transnational criminal organizations as terrorist entities under Canada's criminal code. These listed entities are organized crime groups that spread fear in local populations.
Are we talking about the ones in the streets? Oh, right. You guys already designated those ones, and they're still operating in the streets. That's right.
By using methods of extreme violence and are known for drug trafficking, human trafficking, and trafficking in illegal guns. The listing of an entity under the criminal code follows a rigorous and ongoing process.
Oh yeah, so rigorous. Just like the RCMP's ability to investigate the SNC-Lavalin scandal. So rigorous.
That must meet a legal threshold. Listings are in fact based on evidence, intelligence, and the law.
So we're going to jump over to the next clip here, where he's asked about cartels, and the RCMP guy here does confirm that.
Dhalla operates in Canada, or the smaller cartels other than Sinaloa and CJNG. Do you have evidence of them being in Canada?
That's a question I'm going to ask the RCMP Commissioner to answer if you're okay with that. Commissioner Dan?
Thank you, Minister. I can confirm that we do have intelligence that different cartels operate in Canada. There's also strong intelligence that Canadians have actually moved to Mexico and South America to facilitate the transport of certain commodities into Canada. So we are aware of it.
And what about the 2 street gangs that you included in there as well?
The street gangs, it's the same. The intel picture is very similar. And what's interesting, going back to Catherine's question with regards to what this does, is there's a lot of organized crime groups that are not listed that feed in from the Mexican organized crime group. So if you are supporting an organized crime group that is now listed, you're part of that, and you could be charged under the terrorism legislation.
Yeah, except nobody gets charged in Canada. Not only that, there's already a committee meeting where they admitted there's over 4,000 individual crime groups with individual bosses in Canada. So we're talking about towns or cities with a population of 1,000 people or more. That means there's 4 different individual groups with individual bosses operating in every single town or city in Canada. That's how bad the crime situation is. You've got agencies, 50 million in bad stuff here at the Manitoba-US border. So to play this, there's photos of this stuff, and I realized that on YouTube you can talk about this stuff. In this context, you can't show this stuff. So we'll just play this, but I have to hide them.
Only in Canada can you be caught with $50 million worth of meth in your 18-wheeler truck and be put out on bail. I am not joking. Look at the amount of meth here. You got caught with this much meth. Omalpreet Sidhu, 29, was arrested on January 14th attempting to cross the Beausevain port of entry with 406.2 kilograms of what is believed to be methamphetamine inside of a commercial truck. The CBSA discovered the massive meth shipment wrapped in 200 packages put into rolling suitcases and stored in a single trailer bound for Winnipeg. Officials said that the amount is a prairie record for a narcotic seizure and one of the largest at a land entry in Canada. They said the amount represents about 4 million doses with an estimated street value of $50.7 million. Look at all of this meth. But here we go. He's out on bail. Our justice system is totally messed up. I can't imagine how many people these drugs have killed in our communities.
The fact that someone would get caught with this much and get out on bail, why are they not in jail for 100 years? They should just be building fence posts for the rest of their life. That's their option. You get to build fence posts. That's it. You get no other option. It's just a game of catch and release. Why even bother? Waste of money on policing. But you make fun of Americans. Yeah, I mean, we've got much worse stuff going on here. Canada is broken. Canada is broken. We've got stuff like this. Outdoor prayer it shouldn't be happening. If you want a prayer, go to your mosque or your church. This one here says Olivia Chow's Toronto, just outside of the office of Toronto's CCP-aligned mayor, and the city's Muslims do their daily prayers. Take it to your church or your mosque, not in the streets. On this episode of Far Off Ripoff, got $22 million here going to Ghana for the financial inclusion and enterprise development in Ghana. Oh, this is a good one here. Look at this, $6.2 million. This project supports legislatures in Ghana and Togo to be more inclusive, gender responsive, and transparent. It goes to support legislatures to amend and pass inclusive gender laws, including gender-sensitive budgets. Supporting legislatures to set up systems and oversee the achievement of gender equality commitments by executive branches. This is outrageous. You got to check out this video here. Mark Carney gets asked this question from this Pakistani guy. He's a pretty thick accent, and he just goes on and on and on about his resume. It's like, as Table Salt says here, it says reads out his whole resume and work experience to Mark Carney for absolutely no reason at all. It's like he's just kind of shooting his shot here. You look at Carney's body language here. You can read this guy like a book. He can't hide anything. He gets noticeably annoyed with the guy's question.
My name is Tahir Jamal TJ. I'm the founder owner of the emerging media house TJ Talks Toronto. I'm a professional accountant hotelier working for the Soho Hotel Toronto, Starwood and Mastercraft, leading their finance and accounting for the last 3 years, 20 years in 22 Canada, 20 years in finance and accounting hotel.
Carney was lost there, and then when he nodded, he's like, okay, I'm picking up what you're saying now. Just wait.
My question, and I'm a part-time faculty member at Durham College during pandemic time, and there was no job. I was teaching Durham and Queens.
Okay.
Right? At the same
So he's like, okay, I got a little bit. Now ask the question. This is an uncomfortable smile. He doesn't like this is being drawn out.
in context, last July I went to back home, Pakistan, Karachi. I delivered a lecture on 10 lucrative economies of the country. And this...
When someone grabs their mouth like that, especially in this situation, very uncomfortable. He wants to say something. He wants to interrupt the guy, but he's trying to hold himself to not look like a jerk.
April, I'm going to do FDI, Foreign Direct Investment. Just a brief introduction of mine. Sorry about that. Sir, my question is, or my concern is, I'm just concerned about the Team Canada. I love Canada. I am dual national, Pakistan and Canada. But the thing is, the way the things are going, I'm deeply concerned and observing, and I appreciate Mr. Justin Trudeau dealing is very well, and Mr. Doug Ford handling very well.
So you see that there, a little like, come on, do it. He grabs his ear like he's trying to get this energy out. He doesn't know how to handle it. He's not a politician. He's not well trained like Justin Trudeau. Trudeau's not only a politician, but he's an actor, right? Drama teacher. Just wait for it. Watch his hand.
Appreciate that. Good friend of Doug Ford. So, sir, what's your...
He's like, give me the question. Just spit it out, man.
What would be different, your strategy, compared to the existing leader of Liberal? How are you going to handle after March 3rd? The same. That would be the first challenge for you.
He's pacing back and forth. He does not like this at all. He's feeling uncomfortable.
You know the best. Thank you very much for giving me the time.
As you heard there, he interrupted him at the end. I don't know what the answer is. This clip here, they cut it off, but that's just funny. I like this clip because it really shows a lot of Mark Carney's tells here. Like, he doesn't hide anything. He doesn't know how to hide it. You miss 100% of shots you don't take. Tamir Jamal, TJ, teacher, co-founder, owner, media house, finance expert, PPA, ML. Broken you, STF you already. Just to remind everyone who Mark Carney is, we've got this video here.
You demanded action, and now it's time for the financial sector to deliver. To reach net zero, every country, every company, every bank every investor, every pension fund around the world will need to make some big changes. In the run-up to COP26 in Glasgow, we have an enormous opportunity to bring climate change into the heart of every financial decision. And our plan will manage the risks from climate change while helping to seize the opportunities from a newer, greener economy. The UK has been at the forefront of innovation for centuries, brimming with ingenuity and a can-do spirit. It also houses the world's largest financial system, and by bringing them together, we can deliver the net zero world that you've demanded and that our future generations deserve.
Who's demanding this, Carney? You? The UK has the wokest policies on the planet. People are leaving that country in droves because it is so bad to live there now. You got migrants committing all sorts of terrible crimes in the streets and they don't get punished. You got people grumpy on social media and they get charged and put in prison. That's the UK summed up.
The world's coming to Glasgow. Let's reshape finance for a sustainable world.
This guy cannot run our country. Unelected guy. Never won a seat in his life, becomes prime minister. Only in Trudeau's Canada would we see this. So what you're looking at here is this guy in the vest is a gangster. He shows up with his vest. He lures this woman out of the house. He's talking to her about something here. Remember, this guy's a gangster. He's not actually a worker. We're not sure what they talked about here, but basically he points out a bunch of random stuff and then pulls out his pew-pew, as you can see here. And as you can see, he's you just can't make this stuff up. So he messes up the first time. He doesn't properly cock it, tries to pew-pew. It happens again. And then finally, on the third time, there it is. He finally gets the job done. Like 100 years in jail doing manual labor. That's your only options. What is wrong with people? Is he going to get caught? Was this the first time he fired a pew-pew? Next up in China, we have an AI robot malfunctions and starts attacking people. This is the future. So I don't know if this music's copyright, but yeah, angry robot just randomly punching the people there. Yeah. I'm sure this thing has a ton of force because it's a robot. And so it begins. Bug or feature. There you have it. Canada's being known for having the super labs. That's our claim to fame now, I guess. Under Justin Trudeau and the Liberals, just let all the gangsters and mobsters come in from around the world. Create super labs. Pretty hard to hear those words from the CBSA officers. It must be very demoralizing for them to have to go to work knowing that absolute bumbling buffoon Justin Trudeau has put in these laws that makes them unable to do their job properly, unable to protect Canada. They're watching people who should not be coming into our country just walk right in. No prime minister would ever change the laws like that unless it was intended.